The studio's done, but it's not quite complete because this table that I've been talking about.
Yes, the table.
And the table I've been telling everyone that you're going to teach me how to build.
Yes.
It needs to be done now. First things first, what do we need to get to site?
So first things first, we have a plan here that you've drawn for us.
Can you understand it?
I can understand it. Okay. We've drawn a mud map here. I've put some measurements or recommended measurements to things.
Yep.
So we're going to start with how high it is off the ground. So we want it about 1 metre.
We do.
We think, but we'll check that as we're going along.
Correct.
We'll use some nice big thick posts.
Yep.
So it adds some volume to the legs, otherwise the table will be
Bit out of scale,
a
hey?
bit out of scale. We're going to use form ply. Form ply is a lot smoother than marine ply.
Yep.
It's for formwork concrete, so they can hold concrete in place and have a nice smooth finish when they take the form board off.
Yep.
My thoughts for using this is that you want the top of this pretty smooth. You're pushing material around, you're pushing tiles, plans, what have you around, so I thought that would be the best, so not to catch on your materials or your
Or my sewing machine.
blankets, what I don't know yet. Whatever. That's my thoughts.
All the things that you do
All the
on a
pretty
design
stuff.
table.
All the pretty stuff you put on a design table, that's my thoughts.
Okay, so with me being your apprentice today,
Yes.
what's my role going to be?
Keep the site very tidy. As tidy as a hospital. Okay? Now, do you want to know the reason for that?
Go.
If I've given you a task and I can trust you to do that and you do it well, then I'm going to trust you to do a lot of other things in building this. And maybe even one day build a house. Listen to jump out of
My lord.
Here are the things you're going to need. First, the rails. You need 2 pieces at 1100 by 140 by 40 mil, and 2 pieces at 1800 by 140 by 40 millimeters. Then for the legs, 4 pieces at 100 by 100 mil by 850 tall. And then for the top of the desk at 1200 by 1800 mil, as well as 4 wheels, some screws, drill bits, spray paint, and whatever colour you choose to finish it in. I'm using Misty Grey from Jolie Home.
Morning.
Morning.
Building your desk.
We are. What are you doing right now?
Trying to explain to someone how we're going to build a desk. How's that sound?
Great.
So, this is your desktop, 18 by 12. We're going to use the pre-primed as our rails around the outside, similar as our sketch here, with our posts in the middle, because we've got to get 2 drawers underneath. So I'm marking and Findlay's cutting. We're going to put our screws into the other piece of timber. Pre-drill this hole and this hole and pre-countersink it so that the screws will sit just below the surface.
You said we have to drill the holes.
Yes.
Why do we have to drill the holes first?
It will make it easier for the screws to go through because we're actually locking this piece of timber to this piece of timber. So we don't actually need to screw through this as such. It is a better job if we do pre-drill it and pre-countersink it. Okay, so going back to what we talked about, drilling the ends of these, pre-drilling them.
Yep.
This one will go all the way through, this piece of timber, pre-drill it so that this screw can just go through, hence why there's thread on the front part of it and not much up here. Now this drill bit we're going to use as a countersinking bit so that that head sits below the top of the surface. We're using this because I don't know where my countersinking head bit is, so we'll use it old school way.
Question.
So we're basically just going to go down to about that deep,
Yep.
top of my fingernail there, to countersink this in so it doesn't stick out.
Question.
Now you could use this screw alone and pull it into there. It would go a little bit furry around the outside, so I like to use this.
Question.
Answer.
How big is the screw?
This is 12 gauge screw at say 65 mil long.
What sort of screw is it? What's it made of?
Metal.
So when someone goes to the timber shop,
So it's, you can just ask for a wood screw. So we're about to screw this together. This has got to be flush. Make sure that these two are flush with one another as well. And again, we're screwing this because one day we're going to take it apart. Essentially, that's where the screws are going, like that and like that.
how do you decide how far down from the top and up from the bottom the screws go?
I usually go, say, a quarter in from the bottom to there, and a quarter in from the bottom to there, so it doesn't split. So that's roughly where this one is.
Yep.
Drilling into, or this close to the end grain, you're only this far away, which is the middle of this one. It can split the timber, so we're going to see if this timber's too hard to do that on the next one and show people what happens. So we're at the stage now, Finlay, of where, or sorry, not where, what height you would like the table. So it needs to be your working height.
Correct.
We're designing this for you, so for me, I'd probably have it a lot higher than you would. No offence.
None taken. Short is good.
So look, I would say you're about a metre.
I think I'm a metre to stand, and I'm a
Yep.
metre to draw, and I'm a metre to lean.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the other thing people need to think about is, so I have got stools for this desk as well.
Yes.
For anyone, so if I had clients in here, they wouldn't have to stand the whole time. So I think you got to think about your leaning height and your drawing height and working height as well as your seating height. So my stools are at 650, which gives heaps of leg clearance underneath,
Yeah, a little bit of leg clearance.
which would be good. So I agree, I think a metre.
Yeah, and you could, if you were designing this for other purposes, have quite an overhang on the bench.
You totally could. And then you need less height difference between your stool because you put
Yes.
a rail.
That's right. But because we're doing what we're doing and it's a stand-up design table,
Correct.
it's not really a sit-down design
Correct.
table.
It's only a sit down if, you know, you got real tired.
You worked real hard.
You work. Yeah, if I worked real hard for it.
If you did.
You'll never need to sit down at this table. It'll be okay.
So a tip,
Yep.
for when we're screwing these into the side rail,
Yes.
we have two screws here.
Correct.
They go into this piece of timber here.
That's why you can't do them at the same heights.
That's right. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to stagger these two screws that we're going to put in.
Right.
Okay, so let's say we're going to put one here and here, like that.
Okay.
And then we're going to come over here and put one here, offset, so they're and there.
How will that one not hit that one?
Measurements.
Oh.
So how are you making those decisions?
Well, like we said, we're going to put one there,
Yep.
and then pretty much the same around this side.
How did you decide what height to put it from the bottom of the rail?
Because it's similar height to this, not quite. It's actually 25 mil.
And what's that height?
This height to there, I think that's about 30, 40 mil, I think.
So it means our screw on the other side's not going to hit it.
Correct.
What are you up to with the table first?
We are putting on these real solid gold caster wheels supplied by
A spray can.
Anthony Saddington himself.
Did he spray them for me personally?
That's too hard for Saturday.
So, what are you using to attach them? Are they different to all the different screws that we've used previously on this project?
We're using some smaller screws. They don't need to go as deep because you've got the weight on here. Now, if this was moving around a lot, I would put different screws in here. But they're quite wide, so the head goes over this base that's been provided. A flathead or a dome head screw.
Yes.
And it's got to be able to not fit between the gap there.
Yep.
Like that. So they fall through.
So exactly, or approximately, how long do they need to be?
They should actually be about 50 mil long.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
that's it. The legs need to be pretty solid so you can take the weight of whatever you put on here. Now these legs are way bigger than what's required for what you're going to put on here, but we're also going for the aesthetics of it as well. So they look quite chunky. When they go in, they want to tell the person, probably in the hardware store, or have a bit of a research of what kind of weight each post will hold up. But usually this is pretty readily available stuff in most hardware stores. This one's 110 by 110. You can actually get down to 90 by 90. That's pretty common.
What lengths do they come in?
Up to 6 metre lengths.
Okay,
That's
cool.
300 increments. And what I like to do is I like to get a drill bit for the pilot hole, a drill bit that is slightly smaller than the shank. So you've got the screw with its leaves on it, each side, that pulls the screw in. Then you've got the whole shaft, and you want to make the pilot hole a little bit smaller than the shaft of the screw, hence why we've probably got, I don't know, maybe a 3 mil drill bit there. When you look at it, you put the drill bit in front, and you should be able to see a little bit each side of the shaft of the screw. So what happens sometimes in the bottom of these treated pine posts, or the pre-prime posts, the veins, which are these things here,
Yep.
right, those veins are actually quite hard, whereas in between is softer. So sometimes if you do strike one of those, it's quite hard to drill into it and screw into it as well.
Do you notice it?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Did you know I run workshops on all things renovation and DIY? So I've popped a link below in the description so you can check out the schedule for the rest of the year. I hope to see you there.